Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi semuanya. Good morning, everybody. Welcome on board. This is our first webinar, Build It Green, which is held on weekend because this is also our first time the webinar is held during the semester break. After we have like normally we have like every 2 weeks, but now we will have only once in a month. And it will be held during the weekend because, yeah, our normal life as scholars. Okay, so again, welcome to all of you. First of all, I would like to read along about the terms and conditions. This is our sixth webinar, Build It Green, which is with the theme International Green Building Rating Systems and Sustainable Material. Today, 10th of October, we will have this event from 10 o'clock until 12 o'clock. So the terms of conditions of this webinar is the first one. This webinar we will have in English, but don't worry. If you think you cannot really friendly speaking in English, you can just write us in the Indonesian, in Bahasa, in the YouTube chat. Then we will try to translate it for you. And the second one, please participants are required to maintain courtesy during the live chat. Please read along all of the regulations. The third one and the fourth one, it is important because we expect you to write questions from this Google form, and the link is below. The fifth one, participants that has already registered are required to fill the attendance links in the following link. Okay. Okay, so for the participants that is already registered on our website, please input the link below on your browser to confirm your attendance and to have the eligibility to get e-certificate from us. Before we begin, we would like to thank our sponsorship and supporter for today. It is the first one. We have a supporter for like what we have before. We have from Green Building Council Indonesia. Thank you so much, Green Building Council Indonesia, for consistently supporting our event. And also now we have Green Product Council Indonesia, which is the sisters from Green Building Council Indonesia. Thank you so much, Green Product Council Indonesia. And also we have here our sponsor for today's event. The first one came from the Mobilex, and the second one from Granito. These both sponsors is actually already labeled as a gold green label from Green Product Council Indonesia. So now maybe before we start, I just would like to say hi to everybody. Hello, we have now our attendance. Okay. Please let me introduce myself. My name is Ova Dewi. I'm a lecturer in Department of Architecture, Universitas Indonesia, Faculty of Engineering, and I'm representing the cluster of Architecture and Sustainability. Okay, today we will have two expertise for our webinars. The first one is Professor Mark Lasser from University of Florida, Faculty of Construction and Management. Prof. Mark Lasser already have a lot of experience in green building ratings and also about the materials and for sure the constructions. And we have also our second speaker is the chair of Green Product Council Indonesia, Bapak Hendrata Atmoko. So, okay, hello everybody. Again, actually now we already have Ibu Ana and also Pak Yos, the representative from our sponsor. Ibu Ana is from Mobilex and Pak Yos is from Granito. Okay, and we have for sure our head of department, Dr. Ing Dalhar Susanto. Before further presentation, I would like to welcome Bapak Dr. Ing Dalhar Susanto to give the opening speech for our webinar. Please, Pak Dalhar.
Sudah bisa didengar, Pak?
Sudah.
Oke.
Oke.
Thank you, Ibu Ova. Guten Morgen, good morning, everybody. First of all, I want to say thank you.
Pak Dalhar, kameranya belum muncul, Pak. Nggak usah malu-malu, Pak.
Oh, sudah kan?
Belum, Pak, kameranya. Coba belum kelihatan.
Sudah.
Alvin, bisa dibantu, Vin?
Di sini, di saya sudah nih.
Iya, sebentar.
Udah belum?
Masih belum Pak di saya.
Udah. Saya sudah pencet itu. Start
Oke,
video.
nggak apa-apa Pak. Tapi di sini masih ada foto Bapak kok.
Oke.
Terima kasih Pak. Silakan.
So again, first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you, especially to our guest speaker. First is Professor Mark Russell. In my understanding, it is a little bit difficult for you because in Florida it's already 10 p.m. So again, thank you, Prof. Russell. Secondly, I want to thanks also to Pak Hindrata from Green Product Council Indonesia. Today we will have an important seminar discussing about green building, sustainability development, that in last decade, this topic getting important and more important because we already realized that all of us face environmental problem. So I would like also thank you to all organizers, UOFA and team, and also to our sponsor that have already support our program. This seminar actually is part of our our series, program series of inaugurating our 55th establishment of Department of Architecture Universitas Indonesia. So in this seminar, we will discuss about sustainability, especially regarding the international rating system, international green building rating system. As we know, nationally in Indonesia, we have already kind of national rating system. One of them is come from KBCI, Greenship by KBCI. And today we will have explanation from Green Product Council Indonesia. It is also important because not only building should be green, but also the product also should be green. So thanks again to our two presenters, and good luck for the seminar. And I hope this seminar will bring benefit not only for academic level, but also to the practice of building construction, also architecture. So thank you, Kak Ova. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Pak Dahar, the head of Department of Architecture, Faculty of Engineering, Universitas Indonesia. So maybe before that, I would like just to say greetings to all of them. Hello, Prof. Mark Russell. Can you hear me, Pak? Prof. Mark Russell?
Oh, yes, I hear you fine. Thank you.
Okay. So, and then the second speaker, Pak Hendrata Atmoko. Hello, Pak Hendrata Atmoko.
Hello. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Pak.
Ova.
Yeah. And then we have our representative from Mowilex, Ibu Ana. Ibu Ana, hello, Ibu Ana.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting us. We are very proud to be part of this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibu Ana from Mowilex. And then Pak Yos Irawan from Granito, Pak.
Yeah, good morning all. Thank you for this opportunity.
Okay.
Hopefully success for this event. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you so much for the support, ya, Pak Yos and juga. Okay, we still have no representative yet from Bureau Building Council Indonesia, but we hopefully that you'll join us soon. Without further ado, we would like to start the seminar with the presentation. The first speakers from Professor Mark Russell. He will talk about the green building rating worldwide. Please, Prof. Mark Russell, the time is yours.
Thank you, Professor Dewey. I greatly appreciate this honor. As you remember, we met probably almost 2 years ago when I was doing a lecture for your course in Indonesia, and I enjoyed that so much. I came back last year and was looking forward to coming back this year, but I guess COVID has a different plan for me. So I'm thrilled at the honor to be able to present. A little sad that I don't get to visit beautiful Jakarta, Indonesia this year. But, looking forward to future opportunities for that. Do I share the screen? How can I share the screen? Oh, there we go. Okay. Do you guys see my PowerPoint?
Yes, please
Yes.
make it full screen, sir.
Yep, certainly will. I hope. Is that better?
Perfect. Yes.
All right, thank you. So, it's a little late at night for me here in Gainesville, Florida, but I get very excited about this topic. My doctoral dissertation actually focused on international rating systems and life cycle assessment, and as a result of that, I ended up developing my own consulting company in which even today I was working on doing some green globes and some other rating systems, and so it's something I stay active with, and it's a kind of passion I have. So yeah, if I get a little geeked out and too excited, let me know. So I could easily talk for quite some time on this, but I look forward to the questions afterwards, and let's go ahead and talk about what I'm going to discuss in the lecture today. And so just kind of a brief outline of what the topic will be, what covering. Kind of the impact of construction on the world, why we even care about this, what's the importance of why we need rating systems, what is a sustainable issue relative to construction, what are the benefits that rating systems bring. And often I get that question from people as far as why do we need to even use a rating system? I can just do that stuff on my own. So I'll kind of talk about some of that idea behind it. Talk about a little bit short history of the rating systems, when they came about, who did what. Overview of the major topics. There are a lot of similarities between the rating systems, and I'll kind of highlight some of those and a little bit of the differences. And mainly I'm going to focus the rest of the lecture on the material side of it. And so I belong to a United Nations group that deals with material stewardship for construction. And so I'll talk about some of their aspects relative to the rating systems. Life cycle assessments, why we use those as a tool for measuring the ratings. Different tools that are out there and available, and some ideas for any of you that are looking to look at material analysis, and I strongly recommend that for architects. And when you're analyzing what materials to use, what are some of the things that are available. And these are kind of I'm looking for the international big picture scope, and looking forward to Dr. Moko's kind of Indonesian take on this. So also available resources for material selection. There are a lot of really good websites that I recommend to clients, and so take a look at some of these ideas. Some of the cost implications of your material selection, and what's been the success. And on that, we'll kind of do a conclusion. So, all right, let's jump into it. A lot of these details, hopefully you've seen already, that in the world, about over 40% of the energy use worldwide can be contributed to our built environment. Residential, commercial are probably our biggest areas for that. And so, naturally, with such a major portion being coming from our buildings, things that we can do in our buildings will help worldwide, naturally. So if we could reduce, our building energy use by 20%, for example, think of what that does worldwide to us relative to greenhouse gases, relative to other energy uses. The other factors we see is 23% of the air pollution can be attributed to the whole construction process. 40% of our drinking water pollution can be traced back to the, what our buildings use, what our buildings, how we treat our water, what we do with it on site, how we, use it for handling sewer, waste, and these type of issues. And so, and then the biggest one is 50% of our landfill waste can be attributed to construction. And so, and that's what we'll kind of focus, that's how we focus a lot on the material aspect of it, because the materials we use dramatically impact what goes to the landfill. So the more that we can use recycling and these type of elements, I'll spend the second half of our lecture kind of discussing that whole idea of what we can do to help reduce, as strange as it may sound, right? It's a horrible waste. All we're doing is taking this material and just putting it into a landfill. And so when we can do far better things with it. So just some more statistics on the usage. This comes out from the Energy Information Administration. This was last year's chart. Unfortunately, they haven't compiled the chart for this year yet. I'm sure it'd show a big change for 2020. So this came out in 2019. And this is looking at the Organization for Economic Cooperation Development. The amount of increase in energy use that they predicted. And as you can see, all the markets are indicating Asia, South Asia area as being one of the fastest growing areas for the next 30 years. And so things that, in your region naturally are making a huge difference. And so the more we can do to help improve that, the better worldwide. And so there's a lot of great potential for development there. So, but amidst the various sectors, what the main areas, industrial is the biggest, transportation is one of the other main ones, and but residential and commercial construction are the third and fourth next fastest growing regions for industry. So it makes sense that we want to analyze and look at these in more detail. So again, for construction, the energy consumption we discussed already, and you can see for the non-Organization for Economic Development countries, the residential is probably one of your biggest ones. And so it's the whole idea of trying to improve the quality of life, and as the population grows, trying to meet those demands. So anything we can do to start addressing this issue now. So if we're concerned about climate change, pollution effects now, look at where it's going to be going in the next 30 years. And so naturally we need to be very much concerned with that. And my last of these slides is reflects the change and increase in commercial sector energy consumption. And so you can see the U.S. as a major factor. We have a lot of work to do to help reduce those factors also. But similarly, there, China is probably the largest in the OECD countries. So, but pretty significant plot of where we anticipate the growth over the next 30 years. So, I thought this is it was an interesting chart, but again, I'd love to see what the update, right? 2020 certainly was not the growth that they had anticipated. I don't think any of us had planned for 2020 to be what it is. So, all right. So we definitely recognize there's a value for why we need to be conserving energy, conserving water, conserving these type of resources. I mean, there's only a limited amount that we can really work with. And so how we build that and evaluate that is a major tool for analysis. It's one thing for people to individually sit there and say, I've designed a building to be sustainable, but what does that mean? And so rating systems provide this method for us to evaluate a building on a level playing field. So some of the benefits that are often discussed, all of your building rating systems require some form of integrated design process, some method in which your architects are talking to your engineers, are talking to your contractors. And so it's this harmony of individuals working together along with the owner to find the best solution. And so I see it all the time in industry where the person selects a a low E, highly efficient window for the building. If they're not talking to your mechanical HVAC person and letting him know that you've selected this low E, highly efficient window, he's going to put in an air conditioning system that's too big, too expensive, and it's not going to run as well. And so if they work together, you can end up putting in a smaller air conditioning system, make it more efficient, it's cheaper, it offsets the cost from putting in the more high efficient windows, and you really get a much better integrated system, and your building worked in harmony is a much better process. And so by participating in a rating system, that's one of the standard requirements that they often encourage you to do. And so it's very pushed to do that. Another factor I run into is you definitely see an improved quality in your buildings. And so by your contractors, your architects recognizing that you're designing this building to a particular rating system standard, it sets a higher bar. It establishes a higher threshold of what you expect them to do. And the teams recognizing that they need to document the entire process more, they typically build it to a higher quality. You will see better quality materials often, and the entire construction process is better monitored. And there's been numerous case studies that demonstrate the higher quality that you can get by using that. My third bullet on this is the third-party validation. And I'm going to actually deviate just slightly from the topic to give an example of this. And I believe you probably have numerous students out there that are participating in this webinar. And so my advertisement, my advice to students is when filling out your resume, instead of making comments about, things, right? I know how to use Microsoft Project. I know how to use Word, things like that. You get a lot more validity if I can sit there and say, I've been trained by this school. I've been trained by these people. I have this certification. Establishing a third-party validation for your credentials is a recognizable standard that anybody, in the industry, appreciates. And so the same as with your building. If I want to advertise that my building is sustainable, the fact that I can say that it's Green Chip certified or LEED certified, anybody in the industry immediately recognizes what that is. And so it's a definite benefit to attain that level, right? A healthier building, by following the criteria that you go through for your rating systems, it's going to naturally cause you to evaluate your buildings based upon some factors that you might not have normally looked at, as far as the indoor air quality, the pollution that you use throughout the construction process, minimizing the airborne pollutants, the volatile organic compounds. By minimizing these type of potential carcinogens, you will end up with a healthier building. And you often see that by increasing the healthy atmosphere of the building, the occupants will be healthier. You can reduce liability issues, reduce sick building syndrome, and overall it ends up a real win-win scenario for the building owner and building occupants. So it helps improve sustainability as a whole. And so by establishing buildings that are more sustainable, use less energy, it's overall impacting the community and providing a better environment. You're using less energy, use less water, more efficient use of materials. It has a ripple effect throughout the community. If you have the more buildings that can do this, will reduce those amount of waste elements, and you end up establishing an overall protocol and a attitude within a community that is much more beneficial. And I touched on this one a little bit already, is the whole life cycle cost side of it, and that by making smart decisions up front in the design of the building, you hopefully will be saving money on the maintenance, the lifespan throughout the entire building process. So I will talk later on tools that you can use for doing life cycle analysis that will help you in selecting the most optimum projects for that. The little chart here was put out by the General Services Administration of the U.S., in which they were looking at what impact, relative to the national average. So the top third are sustainable rated buildings, and it showed that significant savings for energy in particular was the main thing they're looking here, plus additionally water, the main resources they're analyzing. So they feel there's a significant value to that, and that's why U.S. government has said for all new construction they require it to be some form of third-party certified. And so they see that over the life of the building, it is a it definitely pays for the process to implement these type of procedures. A little bit of history of the building rating systems, and so actually the idea of it can be traced back to the 1960s, early 1970s. Some of us remember the oil embargo issues when we first started seeing environmental issues were taking more of a forefront in the world. And U.S. EPA came out in 1970s, and so Europe came out with the Green Label program. So when they first started coming out with these ideas that we wanted things to be energy efficient, to be sustainable, then people would just arbitrarily label things and say, right, I think my smartphone is sustainable, so I'll put a label on it that says it's sustainable, it saves energy, right, without having any backing for that. And so Europe came out with the Green Label criteria, in which you had somebody come through and evaluate and determine if you're putting a label on something, what does it really mean? Does it really have any significance? And so how do you evaluate if you're saying that, that it's saving energy and these type of things? And so shortly after that, in 1990, BREEAM is out of the UK. It comes out of the BRE, the Building Research Establishment Group. And so BREEAM stands for Building Research Establishment Energy Efficient Management. And so it was for the first rating system that came out, and took a very comprehensive look at the building relative to the criteria we're going to talk about shortly. And so that came out in 1990. About mid 1990s, LEED came to the U.S. and I took the BREEAM and took it to strictly an online platform. And so if you work with any LEED projects, it's you do all your scorecards, all your information is uploaded online. It gets evaluated, it gets sent off to the evaluators, comes back and provide the details for that. And so from a sustainability standpoint, it's fantastic, right? And so you're not wasting a lot of resources in that way. So you can bring in a lot of people involved with it. So their online platform has gotten very comprehensive. And so shortly after that, Canada came out with the Green Globes tools. I bring that one out. I'm not going to go through every one of these, right? I'm going to pick on the highlights and bring out Green Globes because that's an area that I do a lot of evaluations in the U.S. And I'll probably be talking some more about those over the next 2 weeks. I'm in Professor Dewey's courses. So, and as you notice, a lot of the different countries of the world started coming up with their own rating systems. So in 2001, Japan came up with their CASP system. In about 2006, the Germans came out with DGNB. You see a lot more European ones. And so as different countries have different priorities, things that they consider most important for their communities. And so they want to tailor building rating systems relative to their particular values. And so it's really interesting when you look at different rating systems, there's a lot of similarities, but there are a lot of very specific intricacies that make them specific for that particular region. And so the way that we evaluate mechanical HVAC equipment in the US is different than the way you do it in Indonesia. It's different than the way they do it in Europe. And so naturally, you're going to adjust your rating system based, to make them as tailored for the particular location that you need. So In Indonesia, the Green Ship program came out about 2010. And so Dr. Moko will talk more about that program, I think. So a lot of these earlier rating systems at this point are really focusing a lot on the same main elements that we'll talk about in just a minute. About 2014, the U.S. Greenbelt Council came out with some kind of different tools. Edge and Well are some of the different ones. Edge looks more at developing economies and how to design for almost like third world countries as they develop and try to encourage better architectural design for them. Well gets more into issues that we're dealing with now as far as indoor healthy environments and trying to it really focuses a lot more on the health and well-being of the occupants. And so it's really exciting to see this transition to a more holistic approach of instead of just a little bit of the people side, getting a programs that really focus on the social side and on the people side. So trying to get as comprehensive a sustainable project as we can. So all right. This is kind of a map of various rating tools around the world, and so we've got a lot of good involvement. And so Green Chip here in Indonesia is we talked on that one. So this comes back from my dissertation, and so I was looking at 6 different rating tools, and I was trying to compare what are the major elements that they look at to when you're evaluating rating systems, what's important to them. And everybody has the health portion relative to it, in which you look at things such as indoor air quality, reducing the number of carcinogens, and so it's more of a general health type of side of it. So they all included energy. For some of them, energy was the most important aspect. So everybody has a water section. They all include a material section. Like I said, all my remaining slides are going to start focusing on the material side. And they have some type of land use or site, the impact the buildings have on that. Most of the rating systems talk about the management, the whole how you manage the construction process, how what type of environmental management systems you have in place. Some do an additional section just dealing with pollution, which is separate from materials. Surprisingly, only 2 of them had an innovation for really giving credits for pushing beyond the boundaries. Transport is an interesting one when they break it out separately. Some of the criteria included transportation as part of the materials. Others looked at strictly transportation of the building occupants to try to get facilities. Also had a section dealing with quality of services. Waste, some people put waste out separate from materials. Offsite environmental, and finally, economic quality. And so you can see most of them are this first 5 categories, and then as you get different rating systems, you have different focuses, like we discussed, for how different countries will do different areas. So the different tools we're looking at, this from the UK, this was the US standard, this is the Japanese standard. We're looking at the Canadian Green Globe standard, the Australian standard, and the German standard. But trying to give that world perspective. So this comes from the UN group that I work with on material stewardship. And so these are our main tasks in how to improve the whole material process, material selection, through the use of it, and then what you do at the disposal. We do a lot of things in looking at how to improve that chain. And so a lot of it, and I'll talk a little bit more about this in detail, is a lot of deals with the whole life cycle. And you look at the various processes in the life cycle and try to improve their performance. And we're trying to do what's called focusing on closing the loop, right? Instead of having it go to the landfill, how can you get it to come back into the process again? So there's often a story about Henry Ford's success in doing this, of the shipping crates that they would use when the motors were shipped to for the Ford Model T. He would take the crate, the wooden crates, plane those down, and then use those as floorboards in the actual cars, right? And so instead of taking that packing material and just throwing it out as waste or making a lower grade type material, he actually upscaled it and made it to a better product. So opportunities to do that can dramatically improve your ability to do the recycling. So you're always looking at reuse, recycled. One of the big factors is regional, trying to reduce the whole transportation side of it. And the other big benefit we'll talk about for the regional is it has economic strength too, and that keeping the money in the local region provides that social benefit also. So,
Okay, Prof. Mark.
Yes.
Prof. Mark, you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, I'm almost done. So, life cycle analysis is the tools that you can use for measuring that. And so, again, energy materials. It looks at the energy in every phase of it. And so the key with life cycle analysis, right? You want to use applicable ISO standards for it. But there are a number of good tools available. And so I want to put this slide for people for future reference. If you're looking at doing LCAs, I do a lot with Athena. And so I encourage you to look at those. And it kind of guides you through the whole process to facilitate that. Some available resources for material selection. These are websites that will help you in picking the most efficient products. And so a lot of products have already been sorted for you based on what's called environmental product declarations. And so it's a third party that's evaluated the product for the life cycle components. And so using any of these websites is good for that. And final, the cost implications of the material selection. I've actually talked on that one already. And the success, some countries are a lot better than others. Denmark's got a 94% recycle rate. Greece, not as good. US is kind of about 73%. India's all right. But you can see there's definitely room for improvement in the world relative to that. So that, you can tell I wrapped through it pretty quickly for the last portion. But I'll open to
Okay.
I'll turn it back to you, Professor Dewey.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor Mark Russell from University of Florida. So we will skip the questions at the moment because we will have these sessions after the second presentation. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so Professor Mark Russell already discussed about the importance of rating system worldwide, and he also mentioned about emphasizing what are the potentials, possibilities of changes, and also the impact worldwide. Okay, now I would like to introduce our second speaker, Bapak Hendrata Atmoko. Pak Hendrata, are you ready, Pak?
Yes, I'm ready.
So Pak Hendrata Atmoko is the chairman of Green Product Council Indonesia, and he will share among the NGO about what is actually going on Green Product Indonesia in Indonesia. Please, Pak Hendrata Atmoko, the time is yours.
Okay. Good morning, distinguished audience, and also good morning to Professor Mark from the School of Construction Management, University of Florida. Well, in this opportunity in the International Green Building Rating System and Sustainable Materials, I'm not going to elaborate on the buildings, but as part of the Green Building Council, the Green Product Council in Indonesia I would like to elaborate a little bit on the sustainability materials, on the green and eco-friendly materials. Well, let me introduce a little bit about the Green Product Council Indonesia. The Green Product Council Indonesia is actually an NGO, a non-government organization and a non-profit organization established in December 2015 and just operate actively in 2016 in March. Who is the Green Product Council Indonesia? Well, as I told you, that it's an NGO and a non-profit organization who cares very much on the environment in terms of not only the material usage, but also, as mentioned by Professor Mark, well, on the materials efficiency, on the energy efficiency, and last but not least, also on the water conservation. So, especially, who should care then for the green building materials, for the green, eco-friendly and healthy building materials for the construction infrastructure? Of course, I assume that the most concerned are the building owners, who are represented by the architects, by the contractors, building contractors, and also consultants. Well, we will start the Green Label Indonesia as a certification of the green product. First of all, okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please, Alice. Yeah, okay. Next. Yeah. So, the Green Product Council Indonesia is also actively involved in the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, that is point number 12, responsible for the consumption and production. So we are more concerned not only on the production process, but also on the use of the product. After use, I mean. So disposals, recyclable. Yeah. So we were very much engaged in point number 12 of the SDGs, of the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, next. Yeah. Ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. Okay, next. Yeah. So, what is the relationship between the Green Product Council and the Green Building Council? As I told you, we are twins. Yeah. The Green Building Council is more concerned on a green building by the certification of the green building under the greenship, where the Green Product Council is starting awareing about the green materials, yeah, right from the beginning. And the Green Product Council is also a member of the GEN, the Global Eco-Label Network in Canada. So we are more engaged in all of the rating and so forth. So the Green Product Council has a very close relationship with the Green Building Council, and we start right away from the beginning. I can tell you why the Green Product Council is very much concerned on the materials. Remember that 80% of people, they are living in a building. Only 20% of us are living outside. 20% either at home, either in the office, or to the other places. So that's why we are very much concerned that the materials used by the contractors, by the practitioners, by the architects should be green, eco-friendly, and healthy, because we are living in a building 80% of our time. Okay, next. Next slide, please. Yeah, we start with the raw material resources. Yeah. We are very much concerned because the raw materials has to be really eco-friendly. It is not, let's say, disturbing all of the materials sources. Yeah? So the raw material sources has to be really green, getting a license, yeah, from the natural sources and so forth. Okay. Second, next slide. Yeah. And now we are more concerned also on the production process. Yeah. What does it mean on the production process? We are checking, we are auditing the water consumption, yeah, is there any water conservation? Yeah. And then the energy consumption, the worker safety, and last but not least, the packaging materials. The packaging materials, yeah, one of our rating should then having a certain percentage on the recycled materials. For example, the carton boxes, the wooden pallet. We have a rating that not all of the packaging materials like the wooden pallets or the carton boxes are coming from the virgin forest. It must be a certain percentage consisting the recycled materials. The energy consumption, we are also checking about how much energy are they having already a program to save the energy. Yeah? And also the water consumption. The water consumption, what does it mean? We are also checking about, is there any water treatment plant who can recycle the water and reuse the wastewater? And then the waste management, yeah, disposals. Is it recyclable or not? That is some points that we are going to audit in the factory. Okay, next. Next slide. Yeah, this is an example of the products of the packaging material. Yeah, so the wooden carton and then the wooden pallet. Yeah, it must be from the recycled materials. Yeah, next. Next, please. Yeah. So this is one of the process before we are issuing the Green Label Indonesia. In short, what we are doing, the Green Product Council Indonesia, first of all, we are proposing, let's say, the rating tools, standard rating tools for any types of the building materials. For example, for the paint, for the gypsum board, for the ceramics, and for the other building materials. We are proposing a rating tools done by our rating team. And then the second step, after we propose the rating tools, we are conducting a meeting between all of the industries to make a final proposal to the national consensus, what the rating, about the rating that should be valid and obeyed by the industries. After the technical advisory meeting among the industries, the next step is that we are having a national consensus. The national consensus consists of industries, KPCI, Green Product Council Indonesia, academics, and also from the other department from the government, like the department or the Ministry of the Industry, the Ministry of the Trade, the Ministry of the Environment and Forestry of Indonesia, yeah, the YLKI, so called it the Organization for the Consumers and so forth. So the national consensus then decide, have the final decision, have the final right to decide the rating, which is valid to all industries for every type of the building materials product. Okay, next step. Yeah, so after a long process, yeah, after a long process of proposing the rating tools, having the technical group meeting with all of the industries first, and finally with during the national consensus, we are issuing the Green Label Indonesia, yeah, for any type of the green materials, of the green building materials. The type of the Green Label Indonesia, see, is more reliable because it's audited. So differently than the other green label of the other countries, which is a self-declared or self-assessment, but the Green Product Council in Indonesia, by certifying all of the green materials having the green label in Indonesia, is on an audited and assessment process. Who is doing the assessment? Who is doing the auditing? We are appointing IAPMO, from America, headquartered in San Diego, as a representative in Indonesia. IAPMO was appointed by the Green Product Council in Indonesia as an independent organization to do the auditing, to do the process, to do the assessment based on the rating tools which has been decided during the national consensus. After the auditing, exactly like the ISO and the SNI, the National Indonesian Standard, they make a report to us, and then we do a study. Should the industry then passing all of the criteria and the rating, and then we will then issue the green label Indonesia. That is a short explanation about the green label Indonesia and about the Green Product Council Indonesia. So what is the intention of GPCI established in 2015 and starting in 2016? The Green Product Council Indonesia intention is to share to all practitioners, to all professionals, to all building owners, the awareness and giving the information of a green, healthy, eco-friendly, and sustainable building materials. Because all of the buildings, of course, they are using all of the green product materials. That is what we wish in the future. So to all of the professionals, to all of the building owners, may I repeat the intention of Professor Mark Russell, that it has to be an integrated design, especially the architects, by having a material efficiency, and secondly, with the synergy with the material size. So that is our most intention, why the Green Product Council exists in Indonesia, and we are now very active in cooperating with the Green Building Council Indonesia to use and to suggest to all building owners why we should use the green, eco-friendly, and healthy building materials. And I can inform you also that the Green Product Council Indonesia, due to the excellent rating tools we have been endorsed by the Ministry of the Environment and the Forestry, that for those industries who has already having the green label Indonesia, they are also allowed to have the eco-friendly certificate type number 2 from the Ministry of the Environment and the Ministry of the Forestry. So the reason why the green label Indonesia has been admitted, has been endorsed by the Ministry of the Environment and Forestry, because the rating tools, what we have, the rating tools valid for those green product, for all of the green building materials, has been according and in line with their rating and with their intention too. So that is in short what I can inform, what I can introduce the green label, the Green Product Council in Indonesia. So for those industries who is also attending this webinar, I strongly suggest that all of the industries should be then apply to the Green Product Council Indonesia, so that their product will be really green, eco-friendly, healthy, and sustainable. That's my short introduction about the Green Product Council and the concern of us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Pak Hendrata.
Yeah, that is the type of the green label Indonesia certificate. The top, the best is the gold, yeah, which just reached by Mobilex and Granito. Gold, yeah, they are achieving gold plus, and then number second is silver, and number 3 is bronze. Yeah, so we are not able to have a platinum green label Indonesia certification, but I think that it's still too difficult for them. So for those who can reach already the gold, silver, and bronze, I assume that will be already a very good start in the beginning for our country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Hendrata from Green Product Council Indonesia.
Yeah, those are the products, the brands has been, among others, not all, because at this moment there are already more than 100 brands, 100 types of building materials which has been certificated by us, yeah. Including steel, including woods, and so on. Should there any question, Bova? Feel free.
Thank you so much, Pak
To ask.
Hendrata. I think we will
You're
continue
welcome.
after this session. Thank you. Okay, we already heard the 2 speakers' presentations. The first one is from Professor Mark Russell, and the second one is from Pak Hendrata from Green Product Council Indonesia. Okay, so attendees can ask questions to the panelists by using the following link, please. Okay, or also you can check the link in the description below. Okay, one more announcement for our participants that's already registered on our website. Please input the link below on your browser to confirm your attendance and the eligibility to get e-certificate from us. Okay, as for today, we, despite the 2 speakers, the potential speakers, the very, very good speakers, we also have the honorable guests in these sessions. The first one is from Ibu Ana from Mobilex, yeah?
Yes.
The Chief Marketing Officer from Mobilex, Ibu Ana. Hello again, Bu Ana.
Hi, Bova.
Bu Hana, I also
Yeah.
have a message that the CEO from Mobilex, Bapak Nico Safari, also seeing this streaming from San Francisco.
Right. He's joining also.
Yes, thank you so much.
You.
And then the second one, we have Bapak Yos Irawan. He is the marketing department head from Ganito. Yeah, Pak Yos.
Yeah, hi, Ms. Lufa.
Okay. Yeah, and last but not least, we have a very important person for today because we are talking about green rating building system. We have the representative from Green Building Council Indonesia, Bapak Safita Perdana Xiaomi. Akhirnya bisa bergabung ya, Pak?
Ya, halo, selamat siang. Good afternoon all.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak. To all of us, before we heading to the discussion session, first we will see the 2 advertisements from our sponsor. Yeah, please, the sponsorship from Mobilex and Granito.
Sejak pagi memulai hari, aku selalu ada untuk kalian. Untuk kalian, aku akan bersedia menjadi bagian dari kegiatan kreasi bersama. Untuk kalian, aku akan selalu kuat. Untuk kalian, aku akan membuktikan ketangguhanku di setiap tantangan. Untuk kalian, aku akan kembali bersih, mengkilap, tanpa noda membekas. Aku adalah tile yang bisa diandalkan untuk kalian. Karena di saat apapun itu, bersama kalian, aku akan selalu baik-baik saja.
Granito, living in style with the ultimate tile.
Alam, keindahan nyata dari Sang Maha Pencipta. Paduan warna-warna indah mempesona. Inspirasi untuk berkarya.
Kami memulai pekerjaan kami dengan komitmen hanya akan membuat produk dengan kualitas terbaik yang memenuhi kebutuhan pelanggan kami. Perjalanan sebuah cat berkualitas dimulai dari pemilihan bahan baku, lalu proses yang terbaik dan efektif, sehingga lahir cat yang berkualitas. Hanya formula dengan hasil uji terbaiklah yang akan kami lanjutkan ke proses produksi. Semua proses ini tidak akan berhasil tanpa dukungan tim riset yang memiliki kompetensi dalam melakukan percobaan. Karena ketika orang bicara tentang kualitas, maka Mowilek adalah jawabannya.
Setiap batch yang diproduksi, kami pastikan sesuai dengan standar yang telah disepakati. Kami bekerja sama dengan bagian lainnya untuk memastikan agar kualitas tetap stabil. Selain pemeriksaan warna, kami juga memeriksa banyak parameter kualitas lainnya, dan kami sangat ketat dalam menyeleksinya. Kami melakukan semua itu demi kepuasan pelanggan Mowilek.
Kadangkala kami harus menunggu lama untuk setiap proses produksi, agar hasil produksi benar-benar telah sesuai dengan harapan konsumen. Kami harus memastikan bahan-bahan tersebut tetap berada dalam kualitas yang baik. Kami tidak ragu untuk membuang produk yang sudah tidak baik karena masalah penyimpanan atau kontaminasi. Komitmen ini untuk kepuasan konsumen.
Produk Mowilek sangatlah laku, sehingga proses keluar masuk barang begitu cepat. Kami juga menjaga agar barang yang dikirim tepat waktu dan sesuai dengan standar kualitas kami. Hal ini penting karena kami mendistribusikan produk kami tidak hanya di Pulau Jawa, tetapi menjangkau seluruh Indonesia, dari Sabang sampai Merauke. Ini adalah komitmen kami memberikan pelayanan yang terbaik kepada customer.
So, okay. Thank you so much for our two sponsorship for the video advertisement. Now we are heading to our most important discussion. The first one, I will have the questions to Professor Mark. Are you ready, Professor Mark? Okay. I would like also to invite the reviewers or the audience from the YouTube to have a questions. You can also put your questions on the link that is given, and we will try to sum up your questions and read it for you. Okay, so Prof. Mark, there are several questions here, but my main questions is actually regarding this current condition, the situations about the pandemic. So looking into the pandemic, where do you think the green building rating system, especially related to the green material or the constructions, will go to? Thank you, Prof. Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Dewey. So, interesting question. I've seen a lot of information coming out, in particular relative to LEED and also green globes, relative to the whole COVID pandemic issue. And it was actually interesting. I'm working on a project currently in Las Vegas, and I just got an ionization today concerning a product they are looking at installing on the buildings that's specifically designed. It's an atomizer, ionization unit. Sorry, it's late here. It's an ionization unit that goes into the air handling units that particularly, eliminates 99.5% of all viruses and bacteria. And so, I'm already starting to see clients address just this issue. And so from the building rating systems idea, LEED has come out with 4 pilot credits specifically for buildings. They also have an additional 2 more credits relative to the community. And what they're really looking at is just the issues on air handling. What do you do to control the contaminants? How do you plan to control the spread of viruses, the infection rate, in these type of issues? What do you do as far as your material side of it? Do you have a plan for how do you do the continual cleaning, material selection? And so they're really trying to build that into it. Green Globes has done a similar one. They've got a pilot credit specifically dealing with infection control. What is your infection control plan? How do you address that? And so it's exciting because I don't think any of us feel that in 6 months this is going to go away and we're never going to hear from it again. I think all of us recognize, sadly, that this may be an issue we're dealing with for quite some time. And even when they come out with a vaccine for it, who knows what the next major pandemic is going to be. And so to address this, it makes plenty of sense. So rating systems are doing that. It's a huge issue when you consider that most of our air handling units are designed to use recycled air. And so I could have a person with COVID sitting 3 offices down from me that's being pulled up into the recirc air and then goes and gets distributed throughout the entire building. And so not having proper filtration, not having proper controls can be a huge issue for that.
Okay, so thank you, Prof. Mark. But I still have questions about it. We have so many green ratings, in the worldwide. And also it's like tailoring different various, tools and specific goals they're setting up, right? But the question is, did you observe what are actually the greatest innovations among these rating systems?
Wow. Great relative to COVID or just in general?
In general,
at all?
yes, in
general. It really varies. I like the Green Globes rating system because it has an assessor actually walk the job site. And I've seen that LEED in the US is now trying to look at doing similar type things, get more direct involvement. I've walked several hundred job sites, and with over 20 years of construction experience, it's first off, I love it. But I imagine most of you have been involved with projects, and you get so focused on certain elements. Sometimes it takes that third person to come in who wasn't involved throughout the entire process. You just kind of point at something and say, maybe that isn't the way it should be. And so, or have you ever thought of maybe doing it this way? And so it's one of the things I really enjoy doing with that. And I think that's nice to have that person physically walk through and see, yes, you actually did build it right, or maybe you didn't. So the other innovations I've seen, the German rating system, DGNB, takes a spider web diagram of the whole sustainable aspect, and they include a economic factor, they include a social factor, and so they look at more than just energy, water. They look at what is the impact on society. How are you helping the local communities? Are you trying to keep when you do the whole material process, are you equitably treating your employers that are going through that are doing the mining, right? Are you being equitable to the society that it's coming from? You're not just abusing the local communities. So I think that's a great area to be looking at.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Mark. I would like to invite Pak Denny, actually, Pak Safitra from Green Building Council Indonesia, because I think I would like to hear the development itself from Green Building Council Indonesia. We have quite narrow history, Pak. It's like from 2010, we have this Green Building Council Indonesia. Maybe Pak Safitra or Pak Dedi can say something, Pak, please.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Now, I will explain it. I will explain about the Green Building Council Indonesia doing until now. So, what are we, or I'm thinking, GBCI Indonesia together to World Green Building Councils catalyze the uptake of sustainable buildings for everyone and everywhere for all Indonesian people, especially. So our mission is to transform the buildings and construction sectors across the strategic areas, including climate action, health, well-being, resource, and circularity of the SDGs, like Pak Hendrata explains before. So we are a global action network with World Building Council, but have two local action to Indonesia, especially. So how will we achieve it? So Green Building Council Indonesia is member of the World Building Councils. We work with together in line with some ministerial and had established in 2013 or 14 or something. So we inline to organizations, governments, industries to drive the ambition of the basis of the Paris Agreement and UN Global Goals for Sustainable Development. So through the system change approach, our network is leading to industry toward the net zero carbon, healthy, equitable, and resilient built environment. So we already have the green ship rating system, starting with the new buildings rating system in 2011. So we are already have some certified buildings in Indonesia right now. So use straightforwardly, face-based and polite language to state each country must use its own ranking systems, because you know what, different context and revert to different regulation, potential, and problem for each country is different. So number one is based on human resources. Each country will be sustainable and more just like that. So we have to see into the local concept also. Number three is for sure is referring to for local material, local industrial, local availability of the sustainable technology and so on. And don't forget to make it very simple, applicable, and easy to implement for Indonesia. So that's the green ship. That's two and done and until now. And we are use available technology. We are appreciate all the industry available now, and then relatively low investment cost for the buildings for analysis first, and then after that. They are using assessment criteria wherever possible based on the standard local, such as construction law, government regulation, presidential decrees, regional regulation, ministerial decrees, and so on. So that's the Green Ship and Green Building Council Indonesia doing until now.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Safitra or Pak Dedi. Yeah, Prof. Makassar already explained about a lot of tools, yeah, a lot of ranking tools in the worldwide. What I'm really emphasizing in this kind of presentation is actually every country has their own specific or their own interest, right? Like for Indonesia, we are mostly talking about the localities from our material, constructions, the building, and so on and so forth. Maybe each different location, they will have different system. Is it right like that, Professor Mark?
The interesting thing is that a couple of years ago, LEED actually recognized that different regions have their own specific different priorities. And I really like how they've come up with their regional priority credits. And so it's essentially, as I tell my students, it's like getting extra credit for earning those particular credits. And so each region gets to pick their own 6 areas that they want to put emphasis on. This is, and so, you know, I think it's very valuable to do that. And the whole reason we have different rating systems is because of that. You know, if you look at the LEED tool in different places, they recognize the differences. REAM, being the first rating system, recognized that also. And so when they went to the international format, they developed tools for each location. So, you know, we're all very similar, but we all have our own unique things that makes it so wonderful to work with.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor. Okay,
Mhm.
now I would like to go on to the second speaker, to Pak Hendrata. Pak Hendrata, I have several questions, but this one is maybe regarding to the architect, even it's a professional or a students, like what we have in the university. So, Pak Hendrata, regarding this kind of green labeling or green products, it's pleased to know that actually our product is being rated, whether it is silver, bronze, and so on. The questions is for the architects, how to apply it effectively. And then the second one is from your observations during this kind of pandemic, do we have kind of innovations of a new product which is move straightly to the health directions as an impact? That one, Prof. Pak Hendrata, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, Bu Ova, answering your questions, our let's say suggestions to all of the professionals, to all of the practitioners, especially to architects and the contractors. Yeah, I would like strongly, let's say, proposing or suggest that architects has always a dream. Yeah, what are their dream? A beautiful building, yeah, a nice building, yeah, which has a higher value. Yeah, okay, it's okay. Yeah, I know that, but let me strongly suggest you that don't forget also about the materials to be used. Yeah, first of all, yeah, well, I strongly suggest use, let's say, the normal format, the normal size of each building material. For example, the size of the wood, the size of the tiles. What does it mean? You are really saving or reducing disposals. What are disposals? Disposals are waste. Although that the green product or the green label rating is already consisting of the recycle of the disposal. But if you can reduce it, why not? That is our suggestion to all architects. Yeah. Secondly, yeah, I do need all of the practitioners, all of the professionals, yeah, support to inform all of the building owners who has the money to build the building. Yeah. Used always the green labeled building materials. That's green building materials already labeled with the green label Indonesia, yeah, which is very credible process. Yeah. Those products who are already having the green label Indonesia certificate, yeah, I can guarantee that those products are healthy. 80% of us living in the building, environmental friendly, yeah, and also recyclable. That those are the points what we strongly suggest to all practitioners and to all professionals. Yeah.
Okay.
And the second question about the pandemic, you mean?
Yes,
okay.
the innovation materials.
Well, long time ago, when we start by implementing on proposing the rating tools, we've been actually already thinking about the health. So that's why green label consists of friendly, healthy, energy and water conservation. Yeah, so healthy is one of our most important thing when when IAPMO is doing the assessment. This is one of the rating tools in our in our rating system, healthy. Yeah. For example, room air condition. We are very much concerned on the health of the room air condition, yeah, on the energy used by the room air condition and so on. Yeah. Another example from the raw materials, yeah, natural sources. We are also very much, especially on the paint, yeah, the oil-based paint that consists of leads. We are very, very strict on the lead contents. That is healthy. Yeah. So indirectly, Green Product Council Indonesia or the Green Label Indonesia has been already involved, yeah, far before the pandemic.
Yeah, I think that will be the conclusion. Actually, the directions where the health is already being developed.
It's already there.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
Pak Hendrata, I still have one question about it because you're mentioning about a lot about industrials, about big companies, for example. But what about we can see that many materials that is derived from locals, like small industries. Yeah, do they have also the chance to get label from Green Product Council?
Of course, certainly. Yeah. Well, most of the industries, most of them are the middle low industries. Yeah, not big industries like Mobilex and Granito, of course. we are approaching them very actively because it doesn't cost a lot. But by having the Green Label Indonesia certificate, they can put the logo on their packaging.
Okay.
Approaching so that all of the user of the customers, they know that the product they bought are already certificated and environmental, health and friendly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Pak.
everybody, every industry in Indonesia has the same chance, not only the big one. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think it will influence their product. Yeah. Right. Okay, before I will read the questions from the audience, I would like to give the opportunity to our head of department, Pak Dalhar Susanto. Do you have any questions to our speakers, Pak?
Yes, Kaufa. Thank you. It is interesting to hear presentation from Professor Russell and also from Pak Hindrata. As mentioned that in average, all the building rating system focusing on energy consumption. This is the most important aspect, if I'm not mistaken, by the building rating system. But the situation today seems that health aspect, building, what you call it, healthy building and healthy environment, it seems more important. So my question, how in the future this building rating system or product rating system will be changed or will be what you call it, modified or not? Whether this healthy aspect will be dominate, what you call it, dominate aspect in the building rating system or not? That is my question. Thank you, Kak Ufa.
Please, for Mark.
Great question. So, because one of the difficulties with this is because we know that to help reduce the effect of viruses, COVID, and these type of things, we need to increase the airflow. We need to increase the amount of recirculation. We need to use more filters. And so doing all of these things use more energy. And so essentially we're butting heads with the energy side relative to the health side. And so we had the same issue in the U.S. Pretty much when the first rating systems came out, because at that time our air standards were a lot lower as far as the amount of airflow you needed in buildings was lower than what it is now. And so back in the 1970s, 1980s, when the issue of oil embargo, the government said, well, we don't want to have these high airflow rates because it takes a lot of energy. And so fortunately, when the LEED standards came out, that's why you have credits now for having higher airflow. They recognize the value to that. And so they've increased that, they try to encourage people and reward them for that. As a result of that, what we're seeing is people are getting a lot more creative. You're seeing a lot better, more efficient air handling systems. You're finding that using better filters don't need as much energy as before. And so industry is responding, and they are trying to get more efficient, get the better airflow, and try to reduce the energy usage. Integration plays a big part in this also. By properly integrating your mechanical with your materials people, you can try to get the bigger airflow, still use other factors to help reduce the amount of energy. Using things like energy recovery ventilators can also help get more outside air, but precondition it so you don't have to use much energy on it. Using desiccant wheels, there's some really good technology out there. And so, but I definitely see a trend is going to be that we're going to, do a little bit more emphasis on that indoor environment, that health side. It's not going to be huge difference for energy and a little bit for, the health. I think they're going to see a more of a transition, and hopefully, the rating systems are designed that they're periodically updated every 2 to 3 years to increase the standards. And I think the next update, we're going to see some major changes from that. So I'm curious of GBC, I'm curious of Savitra's take on that from the GBC Indonesia. I mean, what are you saying?
Yep. For most for Asians, especially for Asian countries like Singapore, Malaysia, and then Indonesia for also. So that's the Pak Endrata true about the say that and Pak Dalhar Susanto that energy is priority in each of the rating tools in the South Asian countries. But we are right now so called like together movement like stabilize with the World Building Council's initiatives. So we call that not call like rating tools again, but we call right now is like a living tools, because the rating tools is like a more stable, but living tools is more like us living movement and what is this berkembang movement to get involved and involved again to get perfect. So but the rating tools is never perfect because that's always have to be adaptable to best practice from the construction. So we are trying to best to improve the next version of the green sheet for our building consoles rating tools. Is number one is providing for basic function of for every pandemic and epidemic prevention and control, because preventing is better than the curing. So the number one is stable operation of building equipments and skill to responding to epidemic. So like property management, including waste management, information publicity, and air condition quality and quality monitoring. The second one is providing convenience and facilities for the occupant, like effective personnel vehicle controls, enable building occupant to quick access to equipment and material facilities that will help them to easier to get alive, especially for some material that already certified like a healthy material and green material. So the third one is reducing the risk of infection of the and preventing infection also, like controlling of the air pollution, passive design, cross ventilation, setting up the new standard of the improved standard to reduce the risk of the transmission of virus through the maybe like a drainage pipes or tools or something, and more controlling the indoor particulate matters like through the filtering systems, optimizing the building space, enhance effectively of natural ventilation and so on. And the last and the least, protecting health occupant, like through the our discussing now, it's concerning in material, like using green building material that with the antibacterial function. That's far as I know that Green Product Council Indonesia and Green Building Council Indonesia already together work to what is this, to appreciate that material industry in Indonesia that already have that some antibacterial function in those materials. So we are improving so much that on this work.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for the sharing, Pak Safitra.
Yeah, thank you.
For what has GBCI doing at the moment. Pak Dalhar, is it okay, Pak Dalhar? Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna quick go back to Prof. Mark because there is one question from audience, and this is still related to what we have just discussed. The questions come from Priska Winataya in Jakarta. Yeah, thank you all for the clear and interesting presentation. The international building system contain many indicators that are very broad, and sometimes some points are not relevant in some countries. I wonder how the international building rating system respond to different contexts of different country. What aspects should be considered to decide that? And what are the best material for buildings in Indonesia? That will be for GBCI, I think. How to mitigate the exposure of indoor pollutant from material emissions as the relative humidity in Indonesia is very high. Thank you so much.
So let me start with the how the international rating systems evaluate them, and so I can explain. And you know, it's relatively similar. So, like for example, when BREEAM expands out into various other countries, we usually start by they put together a commission of using local individuals in combination with the main BREEAM headquarter people. Lee does the same type of thing. I've been recently involved with an expansion of a product into another country, and it's a very, very time consuming, very detailed process, because you have to maintain the certain level of the product, right? And so LEED has a certain level that they consider that, for a product to be sustainable. And so, and you look at what are the available documentations, what are the current standards within that country, and you want to ensure that your product that you're saying is coming off is going to be equivalent to other places in the world as far as saving energy, saving water. But the way you measure it and the way the priorities within individual countries are going to differ. And so it's a very complex commission that looks at doing that. And so in the US, what we often do is we go through like an ANSI process, where it's a whole panel of individuals that evaluates it, develops the criteria, you put it up for public comment, they respond back, you reevaluate it again. And so it's this continual, it's you want to get as open of a review as possible, such that, and then it takes, I think when BREEAM looks to do an expansion, it can take 6 months to a year, right, to expand into an area. And so, Savitra, do you know how long it took for GBC to expand into Indonesia? How long did that process take? And so,
do you have any idea, Pak Savitra? How long does it take for the development in Indonesia?
Sorry?
Do you know? Yeah. From the time it started, how long did it take before you guys finally had your first? You go through pilot ones, and then, you know, you always run like pilot credits for like a year of testing it before you release it. But how long before you come out with the first pilot? Do you know what it was?
This hopefully is this year's. It will be, but the next version is already drafted and then
Yep.
launched last year. So and then but the implementation and then what is it? The supporting the command and the guidelines will be implemented is also is will be this year's. We trying hard to find the pilot project and then the what is this the response for the community, so to what the importance of the buildings, that's all.
Yep. One of my advice to the person who asked the question is, I for most of the rating systems involved, you know, they're always looking for outside individuals to assist with that process. And so as part of the whole public review process, I encourage people to get involved with that. Get in, you know, to provide that expertise when they have it. It's a great learning tool. So get involved with your local green building council, local authority, participate. And it's great to work with understanding what is involved with that. And so that's, you know, one of my take homes for today is, you know, get involved. And it's for the students out there. It's very, I know U.S. Green Building Council, you can join as a student member. I think it's free for them. And so, you know, it looks great on your resume, and it's a great way to be on the leading edge of where this stuff is going.
Thank you so much, Professor, and also Mr. Savita. Now I'm going to have a quick jump to Pak Atmoko because I have two questions for you, Pak Atmoko, from the audience. So the first question is from Eva Sasia Janita in Cibubur. The question is, you already mentioned about the preparations of green productions, but how about after use? Is there any special treatment in the green productions after use? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, because the recyclable of the used product, after use product, has been already included in the rating system. So from the source of material, especially from the natural source, the production process, the packaging, and last but not least, is the after use product. Is it recyclable? We are doing the assessment on that. The meaning or the intention of having the recycle criteria is we are reducing the waste and the disposals. All of the disposals and the waste has to be able to be recycled. It's very simple like that. So for those materials who cannot be recycled, maybe we are not going to have to issue the Green Label Indonesia certificate, because that is one of the criteria, one of the rating tools, one of the important rating tools. Yeah? Reduce disposals.
Okay.
If possible, zero disposals.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Hendrata. Maybe then I would like to hear from our sponsors because they are the industries. Ibu Ana and Pak Yos, what do you think about the recycle of the after use management from your product? Maybe you can explain us in short. Thank you.
The after use our products, Mobilex products, we already rated the green label for the gold A plus, and then so we are very safe for the environment. We contain no lead, no mercury, and so it is very safe for the children, for the family use, and also we also contain the zero VOC, so volatile organic compounds, which is nowadays it is a very concern too. If children, especially for the interior usage, if the family or the children touch it and then it contains the volatile organic compounds, it will be harmful. So yes, our product is very safe for the environment. And then we are the first carbon neutral manufacturing company in Indonesia. So we are very committed for a better Indonesia. And hopefully other companies can also follow the same footstep that we already did, which is carbon neutral. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Ana from Mowilex about the carbon neutral. So,
Yes.
what about from Granito, Pak Yos Irawan? Would you like to say something about after-use product?
Yeah, in Granito we are focused on used product too, because literally in our production they have a good product and not good product. Our not good product is reused again, recycled again. So we don't have any waste in our production line. So that's why the Granito has a green label certificate for that, which pronounced by KPCI. And then the Pahendrata mentioned before, that our tile is most size is most used by consumer. This is not too big, it's not too small. So in terms of application, our product is quite small waste to be applied in the project. So that's why we encourage architect and others to apply our product too.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Yos from Granito. So in other words, this is actually based on the users, how do they want to recycle the product after use, yeah? But I think the green label product already measure that, or maybe to make them certain that the product is actually not harmful for the environment. Okay, so Pak Hendrata, I will come again to the second questions for you. This comes from Kartika R in Depok.
Yeah.
Yeah. During the material selection, sometimes we as an architect face to choose between several kinds of materials. Some of it were labeled green materials, and some of it were labeled and some recycled material. Yeah. So these two things: green label materials and recycled materials. In your opinion, if we have to choose one of them, which one will you prefer? Is it the green label or recycled or reused from previous project?
Yeah.
Thank you, Pak.
Okay. Certainly, the green labeled product. Why? Because the green labeled product is giving a guarantee that not only recyclable materials, but healthy materials inside the composition, no VOC, yeah, saving the energy, and from the natural sources. You are helping a lot how to save our natural sources to keep Indonesia still environment friendly. So certainly, I would like to strongly suggest choose the green label product, because they are doing a lot and with an effort. It's not easy to get the green label, but with an effort, you can do it.
Okay, so it is actually the reason why you choose this green label is because the recycle label checklist is already upon this green label. Yeah, but maybe to add some kind of questions, maybe if we have the material this is being used and still can be applied or still can be used, then we can choose this kind of material because it's green, right?
Yeah, of course, because the green labeled product, of course, after use, they have some disposal. If those disposal can use it, for example, the tile is 60 by 60. If somebody is only using 50 by 60, so the 10 centimeter by 60, you can still use it. Yeah, you still can apply it. Yeah? Because using the green label product is not expensive. In the long term, it is more economic. Yeah, by reducing, let's say, the medical expenses and so on, because it's healthy. I guarantee it's healthy during the process inside the product. Yeah, it's healthy, including the packaging material. Yeah.
Okay, so it's
you can still use the
also
disposal.
feasible
Yeah,
long term.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Pak Hendrata. So we will have only one last questions now. Yeah, this is up to you. Maybe also Prof. Mark can give the opinion. Also, Pak Hendrata can also give the opinion because it's, I think, still related to both of you. The questions is coming from Muhammad Reski Nugraha in Bandung. Yeah, I'm interested in one of the factors seen in sustainability, namely the effectiveness of energy wasted from the transportation process. If we build in a remote areas that does not have modern building materials such as precast or ACP or ACP or even cement, how do we deal with transportation mobility issues, but at the same time still maintaining the sustainability values? Thank you. So, Prof. Mark, do you want to say something? I can see that you are ready to say something.
No, I'm thinking still. I was going to say.
Okay, you're still thinking, Pak Hendrata?
Yeah. Okay. That is so-called the issue of the carbon footprint, right? Yeah. We are still developing of the carbon footprint of the raw materials. There are two reasons for the GPCI, for the Green Product Council in Indonesia. Use the local material, and at the same time, we are also reducing the carbon footprint rather than using an imported raw material from outside, which has a lot of carbon footprint. For the users who are using in the rural area, yeah, you can choose which materials is having, let's say, the least or the minimum carbon footprint coming to the project to be built. Yeah, because we have already done and protect and prevent the carbon footprint right from the beginning, from the source of the material. So choose and minimize the carbon footprint, let's say from the factory, the nearest factory or the nearest distributor that has to be appointed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the more local, the better, yeah? Okay.
Yes, carbon footprint.
Yes, thank you so much. Prof. Mark, are you ready now?
Oh, yes, as just, and so it's interesting because a lot of the rating systems actually have credits based upon the idea of not doing just that, right? The whole idea of you want to encourage people to build in more connected to the whole community and not in remote locations, just because it's so difficult to handle the transportation of that. And I completely agree with Pak at Michael that analyze your products relative to regionality. And when selecting products in that situation, you really got to focus on what's local. And there's multiple benefits to that. And I think Pat Michael definitely talked about the carbon footprint idea, but we need to take that also to keeping your money in the community, keeping your enhance the social aspect of sustainability, and do as much as possible to keep it there. And so sometimes you got to evaluate. It may be better off to use a material that's right next to your building that may, I hate to say this, it may not have the green label, right? But if it's right there, it's local, you got to do that evaluation, right? And determine what, and so that's where you use tools such as life cycle assessment evaluation tools to determine what's the overall impact. And so sometimes by taking something close by, you're going to have a lower carbon footprint than even a green label product that you got to ship from all the way across, from a totally different continent away. So use the tools to properly evaluate.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that will be a great answer from both of you, and that will be also a very good conclusion for today. So before we end this conclusion, actually my team behind the scene already collected the summary for today's discussion. But before that, I would like to read along the 4 names, which is very fortunate to have our kind of eco-friendly souvenir for these sessions. The first one is Kartika from Depok. The second one is Muhammad Reski Nugraha from Bandung. The third one is Eva Sanchia Janita from Cibubur. And the last 4 is Prisca Winata in Jakarta. Congratulations to all of you. Please, regardless, contact the community with your names, phone numbers, and address because we're gonna send directly the merchandise to your address. Okay, thank you so much. Now I would like to read along the conclusions. Alvin? Okay, now it's the conclusion for today. We already have like almost 2 hours presentation for today and many results that we have. I think a lot of people also have a lot of things to bring it home, but these are several conclusions. The first one, the need of conserving energy, water, and other resources in increasing as the issues of how to face the climate change for the next 30 years become the world concern. In construction field, building rating system is created to analyze all the building design that ought to be designed as an integrated green building system, including its energy efficiency. The international green building rating system around the world tailoring different values and use different tools and specific. Two major aspects in rating systems that these rating systems share are health and energy aspect. These are related to the material stewardship. 80% of people live inside building. To ensure their health and sustainable consumption and production patterns by implementing concept of green building and green product is one of the building rating system goals. Lastly, certified green products are examined not only the standard, raw material resources aspect, but also the production process like water consumption, energy consumptions, worker safety, waste management, and also packaging material. Last but the last one, materials matter for a better world. In the next context of building materials used by all the stakeholders in the architecture, engineering, and construction or AEC industry, it has to be designed as green, healthy, and eco-friendly material as well. Okay, thank you so much. Before we close, Pak Dalhar, do you want to say something, Pak Dalhar? Still mute, Pak.
Yeah, today we have in Germany we call it Aufklärung. So what we call it in English? Some important insight regarding green building, regarding building rating system, not only in the Indonesia but also worldwide in many countries. And thank you again for this opportunity, Prof. Russell and also Pak Indrata, and also teman-teman dari GPCI. Thank you again, and hope that will bring us what you call it beneficial. And actually, I would like to invite GPCI, also GPPI, also the industry to have not only this event, we have collaboration, but I would like to invite more wide collaboration, for example, research and so on. I would like to mention that in the Department of Architecture, Universitas Indonesia, we do all kind of research relating topic of green building and sustainability, include also we do develop a prototype, several prototype for, we call it new material. So we, in this opportunity, we invite all the producers, all the industry, also GPC, GPP to have a collaboration with us, for example, in our research activity. That's all from me, Kak Ova. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dalhar Susanto, our head of Department of Architecture, Faculty of Engineering, Universitas Indonesia. So, Alvin, before we had this photo session, maybe we can have the last announcement? Okay. Yeah, we are almost done with this session. Thank you for participating in Big Build It Green webinar series 6. Do not hesitate to give us any feedbacks regarding this webinar simply by typing the link below into your browser. And especially thank you for our sponsor, Mobilex, Granito, and also Green Building Council Indonesia, and also Green Product Council Indonesia. Don't forget to follow us in this social media platform. We have Instagram, we have also YouTube, and also Facebook. Okay, Elvin, can we go back to the audience now? Okay, before we end, again, we would like to thank you, Professor Mark Russell from University of Florida. Yeah, and also Pak Hendrata Atmoko from Green Product Council Indonesia. Yeah, the two sponsors, Ibu Ana Yesito Wibowo from Mobilex, and also Pak Yos Irawan from Granito, and also the important person for today because you got this announcement like immediately, Pak Safitra GBC Indonesia. But thank you for adding this information, so we'll have like more information about Indonesia. However, Prof. Mark Russell, thank you that you brought us the map. Actually, although we are in house at the moment, we are having this kind of pandemic. But to see this kind of map, world map, it's make us happy already because we understood that the world is flat and everything is with having distance. But at the moment, we are gathered in this one monitor. Okay, then maybe I would like to ask to all of you to have the camera on because we would like to have a photo session now as the last one. Please, I also would like to introduce my team because we are like 17 persons behind the scene.
I'm sorry, Miss Ova.
Yeah.
Because the camera is one open in my.
Ah, okay, okay. It's okay, Pak Yos. It's okay, Pak Yos. I will remember you as the first time you introduce yourself. Okay, Pak Hendrata, Mr. Russell, Ibu Ana, and also Pak Yos, also Pak Savitra. Actually, my team is divided into 4 teams. We are from technical team, sponsor team, marketing team, and also the last technical team. Now I would like to have photo session with all of you. So, say cheese, Iren, can you open the camera, Iren and Feli? Okay. So say cheese, 1, 2, 3. Okay, again, 1. Okay, we still have Tika. Tika, can you turn on the camera, Tika? Okay, thank you. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then thank you so much for today's discussion and presentation. I hope all of you will manage to have this weekend because I already interrupt your weekend, however. And Pak Mark, you can go to sleep now because it's your time to sleep now. To all of the attendants, to all of the participants, thank you so much for the discussion, for the questions and everything. To Green Council, Green Building Council Indonesia, Green Product Council Indonesia, to all of the sponsor Mobilex and also from Granito. Thank you so much. We see each other again in next session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang semuanya. Stay healthy. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye all.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.